Okay, Bob, we got to see Pete Carroll, and he kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling up. I'm feeling happy.
Everything's perfect.
As usual, he did not disappoint when it came to the energy department. A lot of energy, and it's OTA, so we weren't expecting a lot of nitty-gritty stuff, but we heard one thing in particular that was kind of interesting, and it brought us back to a conversation that we had with Russell Wilson a couple of months ago about the stuff that he was going to work on going into what he felt he had to work on, because we've talked about, geez, what a great end of the rookie season. I mean, what would he feel he'd want to work on? We both remembered him bringing up footwork, to be specific, as one of the things he felt like he wanted to get better at. And we asked Pete Carroll roughly the same question. I asked him, has Russell Wilson improved in any ways that you've seen? And
that was the first thing he said.
Yeah.
Hey, his footwork looks super great, but very excited Pete fashion. The throws look great, but the first thing that came out of his mouth was the footwork, which I don't know if that was the meeting they had after the season. Said, all right, let's work on. Here's your first priority is footwork. So maybe that was in their consciousness, or maybe he just happened to work on it so much so that was the first thing Pete noticed. But it was odd to hear that from Russell, and then a few weeks later hear from Pete how well it looked. And there's no doubt that Russell went out of his way to work on it if he felt like it was something he needed to work on, because at this point you really are nitpicking. We need to see him in another season and see him kind of grow and figure out, all right, well, where are the shortcomings? And that's no pun intended there, but what is it that he needs to do? Because the second half of the season he really did everything well.
Sure.
So I feel like we're nitpicking now. Like footwork is something that's, I think, probably not as obvious to most people. You're really sort of nitpicking, I feel like, at this point.
Well, he had a quarterback rating over 100 the second part of last year, and it kind of struck me. I mean, I was immediately thought of the stories that Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan would tell, or their teammates would tell about them, where every offseason they would find an aspect of their game or something they wanted to add to their game and focus on bringing it in. It's kind of the superstar attitude, and I mean that in a positive way, not a negative way at all. And here's Russell Wilson in his second year kind of doing that to a degree. Whether or not he identifies it as something that needs to be fixed, it's been identified as something he wants to do better, and he makes the effort to do it better. And look, there's one thing about working on stuff. That's great. Everyone works on stuff. But it's another thing to, see results.
Right.
And that's, I thought, we heard from Pete that really where it counted today is not only did he work on something that he felt he needed to, and to the point, I don't even know if Pete Carroll felt he needed to, but Pete Carroll noticed how much better it looked.
Yeah, and the true proof in the pudding will be when the regular season comes and the bullets start flying. And,
right.
There's no, that's the hardest part about all this, is there are no pads, there's no hitting, so it's a different element he's going to have to deal with, and we'll just see how much better that footwork is, or if, that's still something he feels he needs to work on. But really, no surprise that he worked on something, and now it's something you just check off the list, is there?
Yep. And it's June, so we're only 3 months away.
That's it.
Football's coming soon, real soon.